Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I want to talk to you about a couple of subjects today, some of them to do with the updates on the ground, some of them about what's happening behind closed doors with regards to the negotiations. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the Israeli Broadcasting Authority. They published some information regarding the war cabinet tensions. Now, we've been talking all along about tensions in the Israeli leadership since the beginning of this war. Israel was in a very tense situation before this war. They thought that the war will unite them. Didn't happen. More tensions. Where are we now? Now, the Israeli Broadcasting Authority is saying that the tensions in the war cabinet, and when we're talking about the war cabinet, we're talking about Benjamin Netanyahu, primarily Benjamin Netanyahu, Benny Gantz, who was a previous IDF chief, Gadi Eisenkot, previous leadership in the IDF, and Yoav Gallant, who is the defense minister. That's the main people in the war cabinet. Reaching peak level. Why is it reaching peak level? Firstly, Netanyahu and Benny Gantz now hardly talk, in accordance to that report. Now, this is an elaboration from me. We had a couple of reports a couple of weeks ago that some of the Arab states dealing with Israel, speaking with Israel, are not speaking with Benjamin Netanyahu and are only speaking with Benny Gantz. I mean, the split in the Israeli leadership and the lack of unity is one of the main things. It's difficult to reach a solution at the moment because it's like an organization with so many heads. You don't know where the last call comes from, right? Officially it should be Benjamin Netanyahu, but as with any, decent functioning organization or country, you need to delegate responsibilities to the people who have the background to take such decisions. This is clearly not happening with Israel. He's not talking with Benny Gantz hardly ever. Gadi Eisenkot is criticizing the delegation he's sending, the recent delegation he's sending for Egypt for the talks regarding the negotiations. Now, don't forget, he previously sent one of his representatives, one of his secretaries, with the head of the Mossad to the last meeting they attended in Egypt to make sure that the Mossad is following his orders to the T when it comes to the negotiations. Later on, he didn't send a delegation. He said there's no point in talking. So he wants a prisoner exchange on his terms only. He's disregarding the military leadership. He's disregarding people with a rich history in the Israeli military and in the Israeli intelligence who are for Israel, Zionist Israel as it is, but don't share the same viewpoint as Benjamin Netanyahu. This is the first thing that I want to talk about. Second thing, another thing regarding the negotiations. CIA head Burns, he was in Israel. He passed a message for Benjamin Netanyahu from Qatar, according to Channel 12 in Israel. He told him Qatar is saying, let more aid in so we can have progress to push in the negotiations. He refused. He didn't want to get more aid in. What he's saying is we need proof that the Israeli prisoners are receiving medication. Imagine that. Now, for Israelis to receive medication, you're talking about the top prisoners with Hamas. There's a massive risk about things being found out, and obviously it's a very risky thing to do in terms of the Palestinian resistance. And if really and truly the aim was for that medicine to get to these people, then why don't you open it up for everyone because they had previous medicine coming in, like 1 per 1,000 packs of medicine. That was a deal to do with medicine. But obviously Hamas can't guarantee that they will show them the evidence regarding this. But if the argument is for this supposed medicine to reach their own citizens in Gaza, kidnapped by Hamas, the prisoners, well, give them more than what they need in Gaza then, isn't it? People are dying. We had the first boy reported dying. Reported, we might have had before previously, but a 7-year-old died today due to malnutrition. His name is Yusuf al-Najjar. Yusuf al-Najjar, 7-year-old boy, hunger in the northern part of Gaza because they are not allowing aid into the northern part of Gaza. Imagine that people started to die now because of hunger. And there was this man in North Gaza recommending people to put stones on their stomach and wrap it to suppress the feeling of hunger. Copying, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, alayhi salatu wassalam, when they had hunger at that time, they used to wrap stones around their stomachs to suppress their hunger. This is the stage that we've reached, ladies and gentlemen, in Gaza in the 21st century in front of the whole world. And you have people still supporting genocide. In Israel, people are mocking it, by the way. Some people in Israel are mocking it. Many, in fact. Well, what are we talking about? In Israeli media, people say out loud, starve them to death. Let them starve to death. This is what the Israeli leadership has been saying. No aid, no food, no nothing until we get our demands. This is how they operate, these people. So they want them to die from hunger. They want to make it as catastrophic as possible in terms of aid, and they want to make Gaza uninhabitable so that they can expel everyone. This is the main aim from this genocide. We've said it from day one. It wasn't about Hamas, wasn't about anything. They couldn't care less about their own people in Gaza, by the way. And we have, every day we see more proof of that happening. The third or fourth now thing that I wanted to talk about, couple of things. Netanyahu saying, he made a comment about Hamas's amendments on the papers for, Hamas's papers for, Netanyahu made a comment about Hamas's negotiation amendments, right? He's saying that they're delusional. Now, we've had a comment from one of the Hamas figures in the political bureau. His name is Muhammad Nazal. He's saying that now Netanyahu knows that when this war ends, it's going to be his end, and he wants to extend it as much as possible. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this thing has been evident from the beginning of this war, and many lives could have been saved. However, it's the people supporting Israel and Netanyahu who are mainly to blame, really. Netanyahu is the prime minister of Israel, a genocidal satanic death cult. And you have people backing him in the US, in Britain, in many other countries too. These are the main people to blame, really, for enabling this to happen. And he is killing more and more people, and he wants to kill even more people just for his own sake, because he knows now he's losing in the polls. Very, very low amount of people still have faith in him, which is surprising, really, that some people have faith in him, but clearly shows that this guy, is a skilled manipulator, to say the least, really. But he needs an accomplishment to get out of this. The way he's trying to get out of this with an accomplishment by saying, look, I made Hamas submit, right? I made Hamas submit, and we're going to continue, and we got our prisoners back without doing any of what they wanted. This, he thinks, in his opinion, this might boost his popularity ever so slightly, despite the fact that he's playing with fire. He's playing with fire, he's crossing red lines, and he potentially caused irreparable damage, by the way. Netanyahu in this campaign definitely, in many aspects, caused irreparable damage for the image of Israel forever. Forever. However, in the short term, that's in the long term. Like, people will always now, people have changed their position 180 degrees about Israel. Zionists now, they stopped supporting Israel, many of them. Israelis are, not believing in, many Israelis are fleeing Israel, not believing in this whole idea. They know it's a facade, they know it's happening. His son is bathing in Miami. He's telling people, come, reservists, call, and you need to attend the war. His son is bathing in Miami, drinking and having security, living lavishly, enjoying his time. And what are Israelis dying for then? Your career? What are they dying for? They're definitely not dying for anything noble, right? right? They're going oppressing people, getting killed, following manipulation, very, very long-term manipulation, and your son is bathing in Miami. And the final thing that I want to talk about is a couple of updates from the ground and where we're going, where we're headed to. Now, they're launching missiles, ladies and gentlemen, from Gaza. Over 130 days in this war, the Gazan resistance still launches missiles at Israel. Strategic missiles. What kind of success can you call this? Israel is supposedly all over Gaza. I know there are certain areas they haven't been able to enter, and they're not based properly in any way. They have a couple of central locations that they're semi-permanently based in, but when it comes to the battles inside the cities, in and out, in and out, in and out, they always face resistance. But for them to get strategic missiles on Israel, this is a massive show of failure. And again, we talked about this many times. This shows the freedom of movement of the Palestinian resistance, how comfortable they are, and how well they're doing when it comes to the battles in Gaza. And we also had at least 8 missiles from Lebanon on Kiryat Shmoni, so things are not toning down in Lebanon. However, we spoke in one of my previous videos that I published very recently about heads of Israeli intelligence and military, previous heads, warning. Like the biggest warning was from the previous head of the Mossad, Tamir Prado, who said that if we continue down this path, we're doomed. He simply said that. Now we have another warning. The latest warning was made by a gentleman called Uri Sagi, who was the previous head of the Aman. He spoke with Radio 103 FM. And obviously I'm talking about people who are core Zionists, who support Israel as a state, and once they claim that they want what's best for Israel as it is, as a Jewish supremacist state, as they describe it, obviously most of them. But he said that Israel shouldn't go to a full-scale war with Lebanon. He made several arguments there, but the main things that he said is we shouldn't go to war with Lebanon because we haven't finished yet with Gaza, and we have a very long way to go in Gaza. And a very interesting thing he said is we potentially cannot go to war with Lebanon. Our army cannot go to wars with Lebanon. He hinted it in a mild manner in this interview, but he said it, which highlights that some people actually know the limits of the Israeli army and what they're doing with this massive failure in Gaza. They obviously don't want to completely accelerate their suicide that they're doing at the moment and get it all over and done with another all-out war in Lebanon, which is looking closer and closer to happen in the coming days. And these were the main things that I wanted to talk to you about today. As usual, I'll have a live stream at 10 for you to participate, share your thoughts, ask any questions, 10 GMT every single night. So join me, and I'll hopefully see you soon in the next video. Take care.